get ready with me while I tell y'all about the time that I found out that my boyfriend was gay. Okay, so me and my boyfriend first got together when we were in 9th grade, I think. Yeah. And honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about him. Like, he was always a really good boyfriend. But the first hint that he might have been a little bit gay was basically a rumor. So there was a rumor that he had gone with one of the 11th graders, a boy. I forgot to put my sunscreen on. But also, not only did I find out he was gay, he was also cheating on me with a guy, which we'll get there. But basically, when we were in 10th grade, my friend was like, hey, I've got something to tell you. And I was like, okay. And she showed me this video of him kissing a guy at a party. And obviously, I was like, what? Like, this is actually crazy. So I went up to him and I asked him about it. And he was like, no, it's like AI. Like, it's not real. Like, I promise you. Like, I would never cheat on you. And me and this girl weren't that close. And she had also been known for lying before. So I trusted him. And I basically just, like, spit it up to her lying. And she's like, no, I wouldn't lie. Like, I promise. I would never. Like, I wouldn't. Why would I even do that? But then eventually she just let it go and was like, whatever. Like, I don't care that much. Okay? And I don't know. Sometimes I'd see him staring at guys. But then I was like, maybe he's just, like, insecure. Like, I didn't really think of it, like, at all like that. Now, this is when I find out, y'all. So, there was one time when me and my boyfriend were in this class together, right? And the class ended and he was like, and we were walking out and then he was like, wait, I need to go and get some. So he was like, just wait here, like, I'll be really fast, like, so he just went. But then I was like, then I was alone. So I was like, I didn't really want to wait there by myself. So I just followed him, like, a few seconds after, but he didn't see. But then obviously, you know me, I'm just innocently following him, him, and then he gets into the class, and then, like, I get there, like, 10 seconds later, like, when he walks in. And then I see him kissing someone. And at first, I'm like, oh my god, like, he's cheating on me with a girl, like, I can't believe it. Then I'm like, wait, that's not a girl. Then I'm like, wait, is he kissing a boy? I'm in shock. So, look further. Not only is it a boy, he was cheating on me with our teacher, y'all.
I slept with my stepbrother and TBH, I kind of enjoyed it. I'm 20 years old and my stepbrother is also 20 years old. He's 5 months older. Our parents only got married a few years ago, so we only lived in the same house for 1 year. We weren't very close at all, more like awkward acquaintances, but we went to the same college. It's a small college near our town where basically everyone goes who stays in the area. We both are in the business school and so we're in a lot of the same classes and activities, so we ended up having similar friends. We got closer as friends/siblings while in school, though my best friend is my roommate. We were all at a bar last Saturday and my stepbrother was being really nice after a guy I was supposed to meet up with never showed up. He kept buying me drinks and laughing at my jokes and I was a little drunk and I kissed him. He seemed really into it and we went back to his place and had intimacy. It was really good and he was complimenting me so much and I was kind of bummed for a minute that he's not like some random guy, but then the second it was over I left and haven't answered his texts since and I've been nauseous ever since. I literally feel like the grossest person in the world. I don't know if I just initiated this because no one here has really liked me and I was feeling desperate or what. I feel so guilty and I don't know if I should tell my mom or block him or what. I'm going back and forth between having an anxiety attack and remembering like intimate things about him. I don't know if I should even transfer. I'm in such a tailspin. Should I cut him off? Tell my mom? Pretend it never happened and just distance myself? Try to go back to being friends?
Okay, story time, because if I were to have a villain origin story, this would be it. To set the scene, this happened in I think the 3rd or 4th grade. It just like made me so mad that it haunts me to this day. No wait, scratch that. This was definitely a middle school story. This definitely happened in middle school. Mind you, I am now 22 years old. I just graduated college and this still makes my blood boil. It pops into my brain like maybe once a month. So you know how in middle school you have homeroom classes? There was this girl in my class that I was kind of family friends with. We were friends and our parents knew each other through us, and then they became friends because she was like one of the only other Korean girls at my school. We'll call this girl Julia. Me and Julia were pretty tight at this point, and I wish nothing but the best for her. Like, I hope she's doing great. This is not her fault. We were also in this class with this girl who was basically just the fucking school bully, okay? Like, that's what she was known for. She was in our class. She was just mean to literally everyone. She also played probably every sport at our like feeder high school, so you just didn't mess with this bitch. Like, homegirl was jacked at 12 years old. So this day there was like a presentation in the cafeteria and we had to go to it with our homeroom and sit with our homeroom, and it's like a lunch and learn type of deal. So they gave us lunch, we ate and like listened to the speaker. Presentation goes great. Me and Julia are sitting together, we're chatting, eating, whatever, having a good time. After the presentation's over, the teachers are like, okay girls, like go to the bathroom together with the girls in your homeroom. We're all in the bathroom, like in line waiting to use the stalls. So a stall basically opens up for me and Julia at the same time, and we both go to the bathroom in separate stalls, of course. I'm like, fuck me for being a fast pisser. Of course, I was conveniently done first, and I was standing right outside waiting for Julia to get done. And the school bully girl that I mentioned earlier kicks her stall door open, okay? And when it opens, guess who's standing right fucking there? Me. The girl who actually did it giggles and runs away, and she never even sees her. Like, she's nowhere to be found. Julia doesn't even speak to me. Like, she just walks away and thinks it was me. And it wasn't me. Like, I was literally just standing there waiting for her. So I go to the rest of my classes for the day. Like, I'm pissed off, like, all day. And I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm getting blamed for something that I didn't even do. And I'm just sitting there like, God, I cannot wait for school to be over so I can go home and rant to my mom about this. Like, can't wait. I get home, and my mom is sitting there waiting for me with an email from Julia's mom pulled up about my actions. And of course, like, the second I get home, I'm like, Mom, please, that wasn't me. Like, I promise. I'm trying to tell her the full story. I'm like, that wasn't me. Like, please. And I don't know if my mom, like, believed me or her or what. She was, like, just mad that another mom emailed her about me, and that's why I got in trouble. Like, I still got in trouble for nothing. Like, hello? And that girl, like, never cared to hear me out. Like, we just beefed for the rest of middle school because I would always be like, hey, like, can we talk about it? Whatever. And she just beefed with me for the rest of school. And then I ended up going to a different middle school for 8th grade and then a different high school as her entirely. So we just, like, never spoke again. I have no idea where she's at now. And of course, like, I hope all is well with Julia. It's, like, not her fault, whatever. Like, I mean, if somebody opened my stall door when I was pissing, like, I'd probably be pretty upset too. I think for me, it was like the fact that I still got in trouble at home, like, really did it for me. Anyways, Julia, if you're watching this, that was not me. I would literally never do that to anybody, like, actually ever. So, okay, makeup is all done. I love you guys. Bye.
So I ran into my ex today, but not just any ex, my ex-husband. And before you bitches get to asking questions, this is my ex from kindergarten. You know that thing where the little boy proposes to the girl with a ring pop? That's what happened to me. We had the whole fucking ceremony with my whole kindergarten class. It was real serious at the time. But then a bitch moved away and that was the end of our love story. Tragic, I know. Anyways, I decided to go to Starbucks today because I'm obsessed with that pumpkin cream chai latte. It's literally my shit. And it was pretty busy, so I sat my ass at a fucking table to wait for my drink. While I was waiting, this guy comes up to me and we start talking and the vibes were there. So of course he asked me for my Instagram, but then the barista calls my name and I was kind of in a hurry. So I just had him give me his Instagram really quick and I was gonna add him back later. He gives me his Instagram and it's really fucking basic. It's just his first name _ his last name. And I'm looking at this fucking name, right? And I'm like, I know this name from somewhere. It's ringing a fucking bell. Why is it so familiar? But I have to go, so I can't really think about it too much. So later on, when I add him back, I get to thinking about it again. Then it fucking clicks and I'm like, oh my god, this is my ex-husband. But then I started gaslighting myself and I was like, well, it's a pretty basic last name. Like, maybe it's just a coincidence. Until I fucking asked him what elementary school he went to. And it was the same one that I went to. And at this point, I'm like, this gotta be him. But to really make sure, I asked him, do you remember the kindergarten teacher's name? And of course, this man fucking said no because that shit was hella long ago. Why would we remember that? Oh, I did. But he didn't. So then I start asking him other questions like, do you remember anybody in the class? Like, da-da-da. And he kind of gets weirded out and he's like, why are you asking me all these questions? And I'm like, oh, fuck, sorry. I think we went to the same kindergarten class, but I don't know. So then he was like, I can ask my mom because I guess she had a picture of the whole kindergarten class, like a group picture with our names and the teacher. So he asked his mom for the fucking picture. My name was in there, his name was in there, and the teacher's name was in there. So I was like, you're my husband. And he texted me back like, what are the fucking odds we run into each other 19 years later on a fluke? And I'm like, you're telling me? But there's still one question remaining. We never got a divorce, so is this really my ex-husband? Or were we just on a really long break? I don't know. Y'all let me know. I'm just a girl. Anyways, the makeup's eating.
Why is my best friend actually in love with my boyfriend? My boyfriend plays soccer, but he's on 2 different club teams, so I don't make it to all his games. But my best friend will text me every time before his game. I don't know how she finds out he has a game, because he said he didn't tell her, like, There's no one else on the team that she knows. And also, he's the only person that's on both the teams. Like, no one else is on both of these club teams. So there would be no one else that she would be asking or going there for. So every time that I say I'm not going to the game, she's there. And he tells me. But, like, she's never been to a game that I'm at. And the weird part is, like, his games, even the home ones are, like, at least 20 minutes away. And the away ones are even farther. And she goes to the far-ass away ones that I can't make it to. Now, I've known about this for a while since it started because he's been telling me. But I haven't said anything or done anything about it because I was like, whatever. Maybe there's another reason she's there. I don't know. She's just bored, needs something to do. But he said that, like, every game, she'll come over and be like, good job, congrats, blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm sorry if they lost, whatever. Last week, at his game, he said that she, like, was coming over to him and, like, starting conversation. And she was talking to him, it was super duper flirty, and he just kept saying, like, I have to go, I have to go. Then he got in his car and called me and told me about it right away. So now I'm getting ready to go to his game, and I told her that I'm not going. If she's there, then I'm gonna confront her and be like, what the fuck? Which, by the way, I know she'll freaking be there because she's at every single one. And, like, I guess there's been other instances where, like, the three of us have been together, like, at a party or whatever in school, where she has been kind of flirty, but I was just always like, okay, I'm right next to her. So I guess at the last game, she, like, went over to him after the game was over, and she was like, she pulled up this picture on her phone of, like, this girl on her boyfriend's back, like, after one of his soccer games, and she was like, can we recreate this picture? And he was like, no. He was like, no, and I have to leave. But he showed it to me. Like, he found the picture that she was showing him, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you don't take that with someone that's not your boyfriend, let alone your best friend fucking boyfriend. No. But I'm actually excited to go and confront her. Me and my boyfriend have been together for, like, almost 2 years now, and everything was fine up until recently. They never even really talked unless I was there up until her and her boyfriend broke up, maybe, like, 4 months ago, and that's when she started going to all his games. Okay, I also just remembered this other thing that happened that, like, I didn't think it was that weird at the time, but she had texted me and was like, hey, can we hang out? And I was like, sorry, I'm with my boyfriend right now, but if you wait until, like, blah, 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 whatever time, we could hang out, do whatever. And so she's like, okay. And then she shows up at my house, knocks on my door, and was like, let's go to Target. All three of us can go. I was like, okay. Like, I was kind of fine with it because I was like, whatever, like, we have nothing to do anyways. We'll just go. She made him drive, but raced me. Literally sprinted to his freaking car and sat in the front seat. And me and him just looked at each other, we're like, okay. Time to go confront her.
Never let a man come over to your house after a first date. And if you used to do that, you're not gonna do that after the story time. Let's go. I also forget to mention that it's a true story time. Yeah, let us begin. The story starts off with this young girl. She goes on a first date with this guy. They go out to get dinner, and honestly, he was a green flag all throughout. Like, he was nice to the waitresses. He paid for the bill. Like, no red flags at all. This is why no matter how normal or nice a guy seems to be, you can never trust them too quickly because the story's like this. The dinner goes great, he pays the bill, and then they just go about their day and they go to their own homes. So obviously this is a respectful man, right? Like, he didn't even try to, like, get her to come over and didn't ask to go over to her house yet. So she goes home and then she gets a call from him, and he's basically saying how he can't find his key, his roommate is not answering the phone, and if he could just come over for the time being until either his roommate answers the phone or he finds his key somehow. And she obviously said yes because, once again, no red flags. He comes over, they're having a blast, they're just sitting on the couch, talking, vibing, and then it just gets really late, so she's like, hey, you can sleep on the couch until you figure things out, I'm gonna go to my room. And something told her to lock the door. Obviously, she lives alone, she doesn't normally lock the door, but something, an instinct. A woman's instinct is always right. So she ends up locking the door and then just going to sleep. A couple hours pass, and then she gets a knock on her bedroom door, and it's him asking for a phone charger because his died. Something told her once again, don't open the door, just tell him where it is. So she does not move and she says, it's on the kitchen counter, like, help yourself. And he says thank you, and then he goes about his business, and then she just goes back to bed. Okay, this is where it gets a little for me. A couple minutes go by, and then he comes back and knocks on the door and says, hey, like, this charger's not working, like, do you have a charger in your room that I can borrow? Something just like raises a flag in her head, like, hey, something's wrong. Why does he want to get into my room so bad? So she calls the police. After she calls the police, she hears like the door kind of opening. She hears like a bunch of commotion outside. And then a couple minutes later, the police knock on her bedroom door and say, hey, like, you're safe. He's in custody. Come outside and look at your living room. Guess what she saw? Please, just pause the video. I want you guys to guess first before you actually hear what it is. So she walks out from her bedroom to her living room with the police, and she sees her whole living room fully plastered, and she just sees a box of power tools. So drills, axes, you name it, it was in that power tool box. If she left her room and she didn't use her womanly instincts, you guys, women, we're never wrong. I said what I said and I meant it. If she did not just listen to her instincts, she would have been gone. I'm so scared for women. Like, we're not safe ever, and it's really sad. I really want to know how she felt in that moment. Like, just to be like, whoa, like, I just listened to my gut, and that's the main reason I'm still alive till this day. Like, if you're watching this, I'm so proud of you, and I hope you know that. Moral of the story is a man can be so normal, have the perfect job, and just be a walking green flag and still not be the person that you think he is. So just don't let anyone into your home. Make sure that you guys run a background check first. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
Hey y'all, get ready with me while I tell you how my friend group of 5 went to 4 in one night. I had this wonderful friend group of 5 girls, of course, and it was just a regular hangout night not too long ago, actually, during spring break, and I had all my girls over. Until, of course there's always an until, the one girl in our group, let's call her Lily, we were as a group collectively deciding which Disney character reminded us of each. I know girls get their feelings hurt easily, and no one was like mean or anything. Like, I was Rapunzel, someone else was Belle. Like, you know, it wasn't mean. And we got to Lily. I don't even remember what they called her, but she ended up getting her feelings hurt and started like shouting and making it a bigger deal. We were doing this discussion in the kitchen, and so I looked around and there was a butter knife on the table, and I said, why don't we do a talking butter knife? So basically, if you were holding the butter knife, you could talk and nobody else could, because everyone was shouting at this point. And being 100% honest, this actually worked, except for Lily. She did not want to do the talking butter. We ended up stopping the game because it got too much because of Lily, and we just went on our way. Well, anywho, a few hours had gone by, like maybe 2, and we had not seen Lily. So because I was hosting the little sleepover, I decided to go, find her and check on her, because again, she is our friend. So I looked for like 30 minutes, couldn't find her. I'm calling her name, and I'm looking in the bathrooms, and I go in my little sister's bathroom. It's completely dark, and she was sitting in front of the door in the dark of my sister's bathroom. And like, she heard me call her name and didn't respond. I practically pushed my way through this door to sit down and talk to her, and she's basically like crying, and I'm like scrolling on Shein, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing continuously, right? And then I just leave, because if you're not gonna tell me what's wrong, there's nothing I can do for you. Okay, so I ended up going back downstairs, and then I heard her talking super loudly right close to my mom's room. At this point, it's like 3 a.m. She has to get up for work in about 2 hours, and she's sitting there talking super loudly on the phone, and I snapped. So I go to the room where she's at, right by my mom's room, and I'm like, hey, listen, you can be upset, that's totally okay, but you cannot sit here, be loud on the phone when my mom is trying to sleep after so much she does for us. She ends up refusing to move and gets louder, and I'm being calm, patient, no cussing, nothing. I wasn't being mean. I was like, listen, you really need to move. You can go to the living room, you can go to my room, you can go outside, but you need to move. And when I said she could go outside, she goes, so you're kicking me out? No. Well, at this point, she's on the phone with her mom or grandma, and she's screaming, cussing, yelling, begging to come get her to pick her up because we're ganging up on her, when I was literally just, it's giving pathological liar. Like, I tried to be nice, but you're not getting your ass up and moving, and you're going to wake my mom up, and she's gonna get mad at me. And so then I got mad, and I was like, get your ass up and go. Now, now, go. I was so mad. And she finally gets up, goes outside, sits outside, crying, cussing at her mom, like, come pick me up. And she's like, it's 3 a.m., I'm not picking you up. She's like, I don't give a shit, come pick me up. You know what I mean, right? Ends up convincing grandma, mom, I don't know, to come get her. And so we go upstairs. I was like, you're not coming back in, like, with this state of frantic manic. You're not. And I left the door open. She's sitting right there by the door, and I'm like, we'll go get your bag, it's already packed, because it was the last night they were spending the night. Bring it down, we bring it, go, right? And then she's like, calls her mom, and her mom's like, walk to the end of the driveway and we'll get you. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. This story time doesn't even grasp how loud, rude, disrespectful, like, she was to everybody. Like, there was so much more. You had to live it. And those 4 girls, I'm sure they'll comment, like. So she starts walking to the end of the driveway, and I was like, you know, I wouldn't want to walk to the end of the driveway at 3 a.m. in the dark by myself. My driveway is super long. And so I was like, we'll walk with you. And she was like, no, go yourself. I help you. Super rude. And we were all calm and chill. No one was cussing. No one was nothing. So we're like, we're just going to walk behind her. So she's walking, and she's like 20 feet above us. So she ends up sitting on the road of the highway by my house, even though, like, she didn't want to be by us. Like, that didn't make sense. Her sister goes and checks on her, and Lily swings on her, and her sister just backs up and walks away. I was like, you know what, fine, you can stay there. So her mom pulls up, right? She gets out of the car, and she's trying to pull up my driveway, and I'm like, you're not about to pull up my driveway and be loud and wake my mama up. So, like, she didn't end up pulling up ever fully up on my driveway. Like, I stood my ground. And she's, like, all upset, and she's talking about somehow she was going to protect her babies or whatever. And, like, you know, of course, like, I get that motherly instinct, but she wasn't getting the full story. She was just getting Lily's story. Anyway, so her mom ends up trying to get her sister to come home as well after Lily just gave us death threats, and of course she was like, no, I'm not going, I didn't do anything. Everyone's crying at this point. They're shouting, screaming, cops being threatened to be called. So overdramatic. I mean, it was all girls, so, like, anyway, Lily's uncle was there too, and so he ends up calming everyone down, which is the only time a situation a man has ever helped. I'm just kidding. I can't say that. Which is a situation a man has ever calmed down. And so basically he calms it down and gets her to leave. And she leaves, and she ends up blocking me. She blocked me. Lily blocked me on everything. One of the beautiful girls from the 4 friend group now. Anyway, bye beautiful people.
Get rid of me while I tell y'all about how there was a fight at my school today. But it wasn't just a normal fight, it was between a student and a teacher. Okay, so we started off like at the start of science, okay? Basically, this teacher she just has a problem with everyone. Like, someone in the fucking class coughed, and she, like, told them off. And basically, there was this girl sitting behind me, and her and a friend kept talking, right? Which, honestly, I understand that she was talking, but, like, everyone in the class was talking. And so this teacher, instead of just normally telling the student to be quiet, she tells her to shut up, right? And this girl, like, she's known for fights and stuff. And she starts, like, arguing back. Like, she was like, who are you telling me to shut up? Like, who do you think you are? And then this teacher starts fighting back with the student. And, like, starts saying stuff about her. She was like, this is why you're failing the class, because you don't ever listen to what I have to say. And then the girl's like, she got mad about that. And then the teacher was like, you're going to be nothing. You know, you're never going to succeed if you don't actually pay attention in school. And then this girl got real mad, y'all. Like, she was so mad. And at this point, like, this girl had actually got up from her seat and went over to the teacher, and they were literally, like, arguing face to face. And so, I don't actually know what the teacher said. Like, me and my friend were literally just, like, laughing about it. Like, we were, like, everyone was kind of in shock. Like, what the hell is going on? Everyone in the class was kind of talking as well, because everyone was just like, oh my god, like, what the hell? And then I've heard that apparently the teacher said something about her mom. Yeah. And her family. And so the girl swung. And punched the teacher in the fucking face. Yeah. And then the teacher started fighting back. She like pulled her hair and smacked her. And then we were all just kind of like, what the hell? And then this boy from my class went and got a teacher from outside and obviously told them what was happening. The teacher came in, braked it up, and then I think the teacher got fired, and I think the girl is suspended for quite a while. But yeah, that is how there was at my school between teacher and student.
Okay, story time. This is really creepy and really unsettling. So this girl and her brother, let's call her Amanda, rode the same bike path every day, 3 times a day. One day they decide to take a different path and they pass this old camper with this creepy old man sitting outside of it. So he starts yelling at them and he goes, "Hey, where are you from? How old are you? Come here." Of course they ignored him and kept pedaling, and I don't think he liked that because he got up and started chasing after them. Of course he was an old man who was running and they had bikes, but it's still weird. Later on, Amanda and her brother made friends with this girl who was a little bit younger than them, and they would hang out together. They were all hanging out when Amanda and her brother went inside, and Emma said that she was going to go for a walk. An hour later, it was dark and nobody had seen Emma, and that's when everybody started realizing that nobody knew where Emma was. Amanda and her brother tell her parents about the creepy old man that they saw the other day, and they take them to the camper. So they knock on the camper, he answers the door, and they ask if he's with anybody. He's like, "No, I'm alone." Then they hear a really faint noise that kind of sounds like a girl, and he slams the door in their faces. So Amanda and Emma's parents call the police get there, they bust through the door, and guess who they find? Emma. Anyways, he was arrested for kidnapping. Yeah.
Get ready with me while I talk about my boyfriend and his girl best friend. More specifically, like what they do together. For some background information, my boyfriend and his girl best friend have been like best friends for like 2 years, I'd say. They're super close, and like I feel like I can't say anything about it because like why should I like stop their like friendship of like 2 years? I obviously trust my boyfriend, so whoever like he wants in his life he can have because I trust him. His parents like have met her, like he brings her over to his house like for dinners and things like that. He snaps her and texts her like every day, and she is one of his like highest streaks, and like so anytime I like bring it up, like I feel awkward about it because like he's like, "Oh, I don't want to lose the streak." She'll send him like fit pics and like ask for his like opinion on like what she's wearing and like if she should like change or something like that. They also went to the same high school together, so they were like in school like 2 years together. He texts her and says he like misses her and like she does the same, and she like has to like hang out with him like constantly. She'll visit him at work and like bring him like food that like she makes or like buys for him. They hang out like pretty often. Like she's either at his house or he goes to her house, and like both of their parents like each other. Like what? When he goes on vacation, he'll buy her stuff too. Like he'll like bring her back like a t-shirt, like a keychain, like jewelry. Like she seems super sweet though and like super nice. So I'm not too sure what to think about this. Like there's this big fair that like people go to and it's only like a week long, and I asked him if he could go, like if we could go, and he was like, "No, I'm busy, like I have work," and like I had work that week too. But he took his girl best friend like last night. They FaceTime so often, and he like plays Fortnite with her and things. And I don't know, like she'll like play with his friends too. Like they'll play like squads, trios, whatever. And they'll like FaceTime to go to sleep sometimes. Like I'll ask him to FaceTime and be like, "I'm FaceTiming already." If she's hungry, he'll like offer to like DoorDash her food and like bring her food. Like I don't know if I should be supportive that he has like other friends, even if it's a girl, or if I should like look more into this. Like I just like don't want to seem like controlling or anything. They'll send each other like cute little TikToks and like they'll send it like back and forth to each other. He's taking her to his like little niece's birthday party today. I have to go now though, or I'm gonna be late to my boyfriend's niece's birthday party because I'm going as his girl best friend. If my boyfriend had a girl best friend, I'd actually go feral. So thank God I'm his girl best friend.
Story time of when my entire friend group fell apart in literally one day. Okay, so this was 2 years ago. So I hosted a Friendsgiving at my house, and this one guy decided to break up with his girlfriend at my party. I'm pretty sure he broke up with her outside. So she came back in and she started crying, and she ran up to my room, and I let her stay there obviously because she just got broken up with. But it's like, why are you breaking up with people at a literal gathering? That's really weird. So we were all inside my garage like doing workouts and stuff because we were just doing like whatever. He comes back in and he's like, "Guys, I have something to tell you." And so we were all having fun, so we stopped and we looked at him and we're like, "Okay, what do you have to tell us?" And he was like, "I'm moving away to Japan in 2 months." So we were all like, what the hell, and that instantly killed the mood. Obviously, we were really sad that our friend was gonna move away in 2 months, which sucked. Okay, I do not remember the timeline of these events, but I just remember when we started eating, it was really, really awkward. And then at this point, while the girls upstairs and the guys downstairs, people are starting to choose sides. Some of the girls are like talking about the girl downstairs with the guy, and like some of us were talking about the guy upstairs. But I was the party host, so I was just like up and down, up and down. So then the girl leaves and she says something like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said like, I hope you had fun, or like, I hope you something, like I hope something. And then as soon as she left, the guy started making fun of her, and it was just a really dramatic like moment. I really don't know how else to explain it. So then since we find out my friend is gonna move to Japan, we're like, okay, let's hang out a little more since you're gonna move away and we're never gonna see you again. So me, my friend, and him decide to hang out at the mall the next day, and that's when things go down. Like the things that I witnessed, that's when like the other half of the friend group like went down in flames. I'm running late for school, so let me know if you guys want a part 2.
Okay, part 2 to when my entire friend group fell apart in one day. And the drama gets really, really good, so I promise, just keep watching. So me, the guy who broke up with his girlfriend, I'm gonna call him K, and this other girl, I'm gonna call her M, we went to the mall. And keep in mind, M has a boyfriend throughout this entire thing. Just in general, overall, they were flirting. They were saying some questionable stuff that I didn't know what to do about it. They got matching Crocs and all these different things. I was high-key third wheeling, and my dad was our ride, so I was like, okay guys, we gotta go. And they were like, no, like let's stay, let's watch a movie, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta go because my dad's here. They decided that them two, they wanted to go watch a movie by themselves. And the boyfriend ends up finding out they went to the movies by themselves, so he gets really pissed. And the ex-girlfriend of Kay also found out that she went to the movies alone with him, and so she was really pissed too. And then she stopped talking to her. I think she called her, like texted her and was like, oh, you're, which was a little aggressive. And at this point, everyone was just mad at each other for different reasons. Keep in mind, Kay's ex-girlfriend is still one of my best friends at the time, but also M is also one of my best friends at the time. So I was really conflicted. Like, I was literally all over the place. It was not okay. In the end, that friend group completely deteriorated. Like, I am not really close to anyone in that friend group anymore, or at least anyone who went to the Friendsgiving. Anyways, that was part 2. Thank you guys for watching.